I am going to go ahead and start recording so that we can post this just as we would a normal webinar. So this is currently being recorded. Gail, will you introduce yourself quickly?
Hi, everyone. I am Gail Schwartz, the Associate Director of Policy and Strategic Initiatives here at the Housing Alliance. While Stacy is based in our Eastern office, I am based out of our Western office in Pittsburgh. So it's really exciting to use this new format and to see so many of you directly as we prepare for our 15th Homes Within Reach conference, which is pretty exciting too.
That's right, less than 6 weeks to go. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we will jump in with today's presentation. Okay, so again, thank you for joining us. We're celebrating our 15th year of Homes Within Reach this year, and we're going to talk today about what it means for you all being a moderator. First of all, thank you very much for agreeing to this task. We sincerely appreciate it. We've got approximately 60 or so sessions and programs planned, so that requires a lot of help and a lot of experts in your area, and we couldn't do it without you. So first of all, thank you very much for this. We changed our policies a little bit this year, as you may know, so all speakers are getting a $150 credit for their registration. That is slightly different from previous years. We were just looking at the way registration was done and wanted it to be equitable amongst all presenters. So that was the reason for the policy change, in case you were curious. Please make sure you do register. Registration is now open. We have sent out reminders, but we wouldn't mind certainly if you gave a friendly nudge to your fellow presenters and asked them to register as well. We'd hope that you do that before the early bird deadline of October 18th. So some goals for your panel. We want you to be successful. So of course that's probably obvious, but in order to do that, that's why we get together today. We want to help you be prepared. We want you to help prepare your colleagues. We want to make sure your presentations are on task. They match the description that that you all have submitted and we may have edited and that we're printing in the program book. We want to make sure that each panel and presentation has good flow and makes sense. And maybe most importantly, we want to make sure that your Q&A is productive, since we know that it's a very popular part of this conference. Gail, I'm going to toss it your way.
All right. So we're just going to review some things that we want you to be thinking about before the conference, during the conference, and then after the conference. So again, we cannot stress this enough. Please check in and remind your fellow panelists to register before the early bird deadline. You should also be working on organizing a call to prepare your fellow panelists for the conference. If there's any need for staffing support or help doing that, or you need a conference call line or a tutorial on Zoom, Stacy's really good at that. She taught me. Again, the Housing Alliance is here to support you in any way that we can to make sure that you have the most successful panel possible, and that always starts with a really good planning strategy. So, you know, just be sure to review the time and flow and purpose of your panel. And then, of course, you can always contact us at any time for any help, or if you just even want to talk something through or bounce an idea off of us. We are available for all of that if you need it. Next slide. So again, thinking before the conference, you want to make sure that all of your PowerPoint presentations should be on one laptop. It's always good to have a backup available, whether it's on the cloud or a thumb drive. My personal recommendation is to go the thumb drive route, but just in case, you know, with a conference and a lot of people on the same bandwidth, sometimes clouds can get a little glitchy. Please know that the Housing Alliance will not provide a laptop, so it's good to get some clarity on how each of you is going to be presenting your information. We do recommend that you do go with a laptop. I think sometimes it gets a little bit wonky if you have a tablet. So also, we will be providing projectors in the room. However, those projectors are all going to be HDMI compatible, so we should have cords. But again, just make sure that whatever you have your presentation set up on, it's going to be able to match that projector setup. The rooms are not equipped with audio capabilities, so our recommendation, if you want to do something that has, you know, a video component or an audio component, really, again, is, you know, there's lots of folks who have, you know, Bluetooth speakers or, you know, Amazon Alexas and all of that stuff now. You can just bring that with you, keep it with you, of course. Just be sure to test out whatever strategy you're going to use before you get to the conference itself, and make sure that it works well. Any questions that you have for your panel, you want to make sure that those are fielded before the conference. I know for me and my personal planning style, I always like to have just a couple of questions on hand if you ever get to the Q&A part and people are just a little slow to ask their questions. Sometimes it helps to be the first person to ask the question. So I think it's always good to have a couple of those on hand if necessary. And please let us know in advance if you need any other materials. Again, we really, you know, at any opportunity want to see presenters engage the audience, and sometimes that's doing breakout groups or, you know, writing something up on one of those easel pads, markers. We can accommodate those materials as long as you let us know at least a week in advance. And then if you have any handouts, you are going to need to print your own. You may have noticed when you registered, because I know everybody on the call today has already registered, that you did not actually select which workshops you would be attending, which is, again, a subtle difference from previous years. So my recommendation to you is, if you do want to have handouts, probably print around roughly 50. That should be enough to get you through the workshop. If it's not enough, again, we're going to be asking you all to send us stuff so we can put it on our website afterwards. So again, duties before the session, you know, once you're there, you're in Harrisburg, you're checking in the registration area, we're actually going to have a moderator check-in table. This is another new change that we're doing. We're going to be giving you your packets. It's going to have your table tents. It's going to have the CLE and CEU forms. That's the continuing education for lawyers and social workers. And this year we are also going to have paper individual session surveys. So we would ask that you not only pass those out, but collect those. And then when you arrive to your workshop room, please remember to put out the table tents for your fellow presenters. Also, we are going to have volunteers floating around in case you have any issues, anything from, you know, technology to air conditioning. There's always one workshop every year at a conference that has, like, you know, a wonky air conditioner. So all of that stuff, we are going to have numerous staff on hand, again, to help support you having the best panel possible. And just be sure to distribute your handouts prior to the workshop, making an announcement for the CLEs and CEUs and all of that good stuff. We always want to make sure that you introduce all of your speakers. Moderators get to do double duty. A lot of moderators get to do double duty, that you are the moderator as well as a speaker. So we just want to make sure that, you know, somebody's watching the time so that there is enough time for question and answer. Be sure to facilitate that Q&A. You know, oftentimes in a really great session with great discussion, you have multiple people wanting to get in on the conversation, and you know, the folks in front can't see the hand raised all the way in the back of the room. So it is really important to facilitate that and field those questions. Be sure to thank the speakers, and again, handle the paperwork. You can always re-announce multiple times the continuing education forms, and pass out and collect those surveys. And then of course, if you could just put the surveys back into the envelope and drop them off in the registration area. And if you could email us your PowerPoint, we don't need it prior to the conference. I know for a lot of folks, sometimes you're tweaking it up until 15 minutes beforehand, which is fine. Just be sure to share it with us afterwards, because we do like to post those on our website. And the staff person who is taking point on getting all of those collected is Erin Lee, and this is her email. So, and we will be sending out numerous follow-up emails as well, but just so you know, this is the person to send your info to, so we can make sure that this stuff is accessible to all of the attendees after the conference and folks who maybe couldn't make that workshop because they were torn between two.
All right, so just some tips and tricks. Gail touched on some of these, but just as you're preparing, always speak loudly and clearly. So do your best to project to the back of the room. Most rooms seat 40 or 50. There are 3 rooms each time that will seat 100. So some depths of the room could be a little bit further. So just always being mindful of that. Gail touched on this, but engaging is good. So if you can use different styles throughout your presentation, so it's not just doesn't necessarily appear like a lecture, we would really encourage that. We hope that you would encourage questions and networking opportunities. On your planning call, take the first couple minutes to just give people the opportunity to get to know each other a little bit. Maybe it's you all are meeting each other for the first time, or perhaps we have facilitated and put together a panel for you and you all don't know each other at all. So just take those extra minutes just to get to know each other first. Clearly, we really encourage, or I really encourage, we're going to say we encourage video meetings for planning meetings. I think there's so much value in being able to see people's faces and staying engaged. And we all know how easy it is to multitask on a conference call. And maybe once or twice we haven't paid attention as best we could. And it's a little bit harder to do that on a video call. So I really encourage you to do that. And I am happy to help anyone learn the free version of Zoom anytime. So please shoot me an email or call me. I'm happy to walk you through it. Like Gail said, this year we did not ask people to choose sessions ahead of time. So they're still up on our website, and we are still promoting all of our workshops. We just changed our registration process slightly. And then lastly, in closing, our contact information. I'm sure that you all have that, but again, our phone number, feel free to email info@housingalliance.org if that's just easier to remember, or substitute any of our first names for info. So Stacy, Gail, Andrea, Lavana, we're all happy to help you. So I'm going to stop the screen share and unmute you all. I think we've got some questions in the chat, so I'm going to try the unmute of everyone. So if anybody does have any background noise, if you know you do, please mute yourself after I unmute you, but we'll move into some questions.
All right, that sounds good.
Okay, we're all unmuted. Here we are, Brady Bunch. So some questions. Do we need to bring our own surveys or will you provide them? Yes, we will. No, you do not need to bring them. We will provide them. Yes, we will. Will there be Wi-Fi? Yes, there will. But like Gail said, everyone sharing it, all conference attendees. So if there's a video that you know you want to use, I would embed that into your presentation prior, just to be safe. I would not depend on YouTube. Do you need to bring your own cables to connect to the presenter or projector? No, we will have HDMI cables. However, it never hurts to have a backup. So no, you're not required to do that. But yes, maybe is always a good idea to throw one in if you have one as a backup for yourself. And do you have to use a PowerPoint? No. I wouldn't think so. Gail, do you have any strong feelings?
No, it's totally up to you and your panel.
Yeah. But feel free to use Prezi if anybody really wants to get techie and advanced. I would encourage that. So other than that, are there any, can we answer any questions for anybody?
Oh, there's another one. Do we need to bring our own cables to connect to the projector?
Oh, I said that. Nope. No, you do not. We will have them for you.
So with
Can
the
we answer
cables,
Oh, hi, Rod. Yeah.
the cables, hi there. If a computer does not have HDMI, they need to have a connector from their computer to the HDMI cable.
Correct. Yes. We have 2, maybe 3. We will not have 10 VGA adapters. So yes, if your computer uses VGA, please do bring the adapter to connect to HDMI. Yes. Anyone else that we can help give any tips or tricks or answer any questions? Gail, am I missing anything, or Lavana or Andrea?
I don't think so. I mean, again, remember, we are all available to help you, support you, bounce ideas off of, talk through anything, answer any logistical questions. So feel free to reach out anytime between now and the conference. If there is something additional that you need for the room, like, you know, the white paper and markers, just let us know what we can advance. And I think that's everything. Oh, we got another question.
Oh. Will we share the results of surveys afterwards? Yes, we will. Sure. Happy to share that. You're welcome. Okay. Well, then thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for being part of our inaugural Zoom call. We really appreciate it, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
All right, take care.
Thank you.